momentarily.
Okay, any advice for Roger to get documents on the
can't-
screen?
It might just be, did I pause? No, I'm not paused. Give me a second and you should be.
Okay, I see people on the right now. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just-
I see
think
the
it's-
agenda now.
Okay, good, good.
I
He's
got the
it now.
agenda. Thank you.
That's good.
Okay, hang on a second. Sometimes I get feedback from the,
I think
Okay.
you're good. Is it 7 o'clock now, Stacy?
it is 7:01.
7:01, okay. Therefore, I'll call this Board of Selectmen meeting to order at 7:01 PM. First of all, I'd like a roll call. Roger Perrault,
Here.
present. Jeffrey Dunn, are you present? Jeff Dunn, are you present?
I don't see him
At the
in.
moment,
Yes,
at the moment, no, neither do I. And at the moment, Jeff is not with us.
I'm with,
However, Ed Moan is the first selectman, I'm present, and therefore we have a quorum. So we will proceed at this juncture, just the same, and hopefully Jeff will be joining us soon.
I'm here.
First order of business is the approval of minutes.
I
Roger,
make a motion to accept the minutes of our March 17th meeting as presented.
I'll
thank you,
second.
Roger.
I'll second.
Did I hear a sec?
Yeah.
From who?
Jeff's there.
Jeff Dunn's on now?
I've been on, yep.
Okay, well, I didn't hear you before, Jeffrey. So Jeff Dunn is present also. All selectmen are now present. I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, I have an aye from Roger and an aye from Jeff. Thank you. Let me just say, as we go through this meeting, just so it's very clear on the recording and for the purposes of the minutes, whenever we say anything, we should state our names first, okay? That way there it's clear for the record. Under new business, item A, review, approve vendor of stainless steel truck body for Public Works. At this point, I would like Glenn Clark to present to the Board of Selectmen. Glenn, please present and discuss the options and which direction you would propose we go.
Thank you. Glenn Clark, Highway Superintendent. We had a truck that the body is pretty bad shape. I put out some proposals to replace the body. Our best option is to replace it with a all stainless steel body. That way there, when it comes time to replace the chassis of the truck, we can reuse this body over, saving us a boatload of money at the time we need to do that. So you got three proposals in front of you. One of them, Park City, it doesn't meet what we were spec'ing out to do. We were looking for stainless body with a barn door. Barn door, because right now the truck has one of those. It's where we go and we have to get rid of large tree limbs or big rocks and stuff, and we don't have to take the tailgate off. It's just a matter of pulling a couple pins, swinging the door right over on its side. We can slide it in. So it's a more versatile truck. So with that being said, that the Park City didn't meet that because they can't do the barn door. That and their sides of the trucks are narrower. So it went on to Freightliner of Hartford. They gave us a price, which they do meet everything that we were asking. But their price was, by the time you add everything into it, that's into the option panel section of the bid, came to $54,516. So we went on to I got one from Truck Builders, which is right in the next town over. You see them right off of Route 6. They're going to offer us the whole thing. Their conveyor, so I can describe the conveyor, is where the chain is, because it's a 4-season body. There's a chain that's inside there. Within about 15 minutes, by pulling a few pins, the whole thing could come down so you could service it. So even if we needed to take it off and rebuild it in the summertime, which you shouldn't have to because it's all stainless. The only thing that's steel on it is going to be the chain, because that's the way they come. The Freightliner and the Truck Builders were very comparable. Truck Builders was $53,840. So there wasn't that much. I think it was, I forget what the difference was, like $676 difference.
Hey, Glenn,
Yes, sir.
you notice in Freightliner, they submitted a bid proposal for 8-foot bed, not a 10-foot bed.
No, it's a 10-foot.
'Cause you see, right on the
Yeah.
first page, so it's attention, Mr. Glenn Clark.
Yep.
First line, we are pleased to quote the following a body replacement chassis to have a 96-inch CA on the strength capacity.
Yeah, that's the chassis.
Oh,
That's
okay.
to go on the chassis. Yes, the
All
body
right.
replacement's the chassis of that. It's a 96-foot 96-inch from hub to hub. If you look down, if you went down a few, it's probably about the 4th line. It'll tell you the Tenco, and it tells you the model. It's a 12M-10. The 10 means that's a 10-foot body.
Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So
Another important factor that Glenn didn't hit on, if I may just interject for a moment. When Glenn was talking about the low bid, the lowest bid, which was from Park City, that also was not a stainless steel body. And that was a big factor, that was a big factor. They would have added stainless steel to it, but it wasn't a total stainless steel body. Correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn. And that was a major factor because what we're seeking is that stainless steel body. Is that correct, Glenn?
it is and it isn't. They did price it as a full steel body, which is something
Steel.
that we don't want to go steel. Yes, but if we wanted to make it a stainless steel, we had to add another $6,000 to it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, okay.
And they can't provide the
barn door.
barn door for it. And there was a lot of other things. They weren't sandblasting the chassis. They were only armor coating. So the other 2 bids were, they're going to sand, once the bodies are off, they're sandblasting the frame, primer, and then painting them. So the longevity of the truck chassis is going to last us a lot longer. The body from Truck Builders it's got the Hardox floor, but it also has, they line the whole inside of the bed with the Hardox. So Roger, you would understand that a little more.
Yeah.
So instead of just being a couple pieces in there, they line the whole thing. So it's going to protect that body even more. The rear of the body, where the tailgate comes up against, is thicker on the Truck Builders versus the one from Freightliner.
Would it suffice to say, Glenn, that while it's a very competitive bid and it's better than the Freightliner bid, that it's the superior product for the dollar?
Oh, I would all day. Truck Builders actually builds that from the scratch right there. So that's going to be built to be, I can review it as we go along. The one for Freightliner, they're actually ordering a body and bringing it. And they do say in the one section that they can add a barn door, but in order to do that, they would have to fab it there in Hartford.
Do some modifications.
Yeah. So the other thing that's nice about the where Truck Builders are, they're right next door. If there's any issues, I'm only going, a couple miles up the road, not going all the way to Hartford.
And typically on something like this, how long before you have to start seeing some major servicing come about? What usually starts to wear and tear on these things first?
On the body or the whole truck?
On the body.
Well, because they're four-season bodies, so they have half of it lifts up with 2 cylinders.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of wear in there. Right now, the truck that needs a body is where this whole conveyor system is all rotted out in there. So thank God we didn't have a real bad winter. I mean, right now we're using that truck in the place of the one truck that we've been waiting for a part for it. But with that said, you know, if something did happen to it, that's where they would happen. There, the hinges, they just get, this truck is one of the used trucks that we got from Killingworth. So there's 2 of them. I'm sorry?
What's the life expectancy of a truck like this?
Today's, in reality, 15 years,
Okay,
15 years.
all right.
So again, I think this is a strong recommendation to purchase this. Let me add, this is something that I didn't note earlier. The funding has already been put in place by the Board of Finance to permitting
Yep.
the Highway Department to utilize funds from snow and ice, which had more than enough revenue left in it to purchase this truck body, which can be changed from chassis to chassis as these trucks chassis and so on fail in the future. So this body will continue on to yet another truck, so to speak. I'd entertain a motion to authorize us to purchase and enter into a contract with Truck Builders of Connecticut to provide the body as described here in the documents for the total sum of $53,840.
Roger says here.
Roger, motion by Roger. Jeff?
Seconded by Jeff.
Second by Jeff. Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye. Ed Moan, aye.
Roger, I.
Jeff, aye.
Thank you very much. And that takes care of item A on our agenda. New business, item B. Stick around for this one, please, Glenn.
Yeah.
We have, as you guys know, we went out for some roads this year, and the proposals came in, and they've been evaluated by our engineer, and the low qualified bid, and I emphasize qualified because it's been in, they investigate them, and both Glenn and I have sat electronically, as you might imagine, in today's day and age, and had a conference with the owners of this company to ensure that we felt comfortable with them. The low bid is again Nagy Brothers. We had some good bidding, by the way, and you can see that in front of you. We went from 1,771,350 all the way up to 2,151,178.40 cents. I'm talking about, but there was 3 right in the 170. So it was a good project and good bidding. I'll speaking for myself, having spoken with, and all the documents are before you guys. If you would thumb through some of these summaries, please, Stacy, that shows how they break out. A little hard to see on a small screen, but you guys got all the hard copy too.
Yeah, I have it
So
right here.
the engineers went through all of this to verify the math and verify such things. Again, Glenn and I spoke with the owner of the company. So I'm going to open it up at this point for any questions that there might be, or for Glenn to comment. But what I'm seeking at when we're done with all of this is that we award contract to what I would suggest we award contract to Nagy Brothers for the sum so stated at $1,771,300.50. Glenn, I'd ask you to talk about what roads that encompasses a little bit, and allow and permit me, the first selectman, to enter into the contract with them as well, which has been reviewed by our town attorney as well as our insurance broker.
So moved.
I got a motion by Roger Perrell. Do I have a second?
Jeff will second that.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Nope.
Glenn, you want to just highlight briefly what roads this encompasses?
Yeah, Glenn Clark, Highway Superintendent. What's in this phase is Park Street, River Street, Oak Street, Maple Street, Goodwin Court, Union Street. And then we're gonna go over and do Center Street from Grand Street to 254. And then we're doing Hillside and Gilbert. Union Street is gonna get ground up and regraded a little wider. They're gonna reduce some of the sidewalks that need to be done. We gotta make that road a little wider because it's kind of hard to, when they got them cars parked down by the lawyer's office, it's pretty hard to get by, especially if someone, 2 cars. So we're gonna widen that section there.
But how will that be widened? Will you be cutting into the banks that are there?
Well, we can't go into the right side. As if you're heading towards Elm Street, we can't go to the right side. So we're gonna go to the left side as much as we can. They're gonna raise that road, how it's got that big dip in there by Grove Manor's parking lot. So they're gonna bring that up a little bit. So it means they gotta do the apron, some sidewalks there.
It's not getting widened significantly. Jeff.
No,
It's just
right.
getting widened as much as we can. I don't recall specifically. Do you, Glenn, how much they think they're going to be able to widen it? We're just trying to facilitate traffic there a little bit better.
Yeah, it's not gonna be as wide as it is up by the banks because there's just not enough room to really do that. I think it was 26, I think, is what they came up with a number. I don't know off the top of my head, I don't have that paperwork in front of me, but I think that's what we
That would
came
be
to.
26
26
feet
feet.
wide at that juncture.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to keep it from where it's really wide, where we can go out the most, and then we're gonna go down.
Right.
That's what the plan is right now.
So they're on the Green Manor side, that's where we're gonna be widening that side of the street.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct. So, okay, I have a motion and a second. Let me just be clear, if there are no further questions, let me just be clear that that motion and second is for 2 purposes. It's to approve the low bidder being Nagy at $1,771,300.50, and to permit me as the first selectman to enter into a contract with the Nagy brothers. If that is agreed, I will call for now a vote.
Roger, so moved.
Rogers and I. Jeff?
Jeff, aye.
Okay, and Ed Moan, aye. Thank you very much. Motion carries unanimously, and we will move forward that with Nagy Brothers probably tomorrow or soon thereafter. Item C under new business. And I'll just kind of read this one and it'll save everybody a lot. In accordance with Governor's Executive Order 7S, Section 7, approve the appropriation of $230,429 for the purchase of 3M Scott air packs for the fire department as follows. $112,000 from the capital reserve account, SCBA. There was already a reserve account established. $410 from building security, $4,947 from paving. These were capital reserve accounts that the Board of Finance chose to move funding to make this purchase, with the balance of, and this was the big piece, an additional $113,082 from the undesignated reserve as approved by the Board of Finance on March 10th, 2020. So we would have normally gone to a town meeting to specifically have this additional funding of $113,082 approved at a town meeting, but under Executive Order 7S, Section 7, the Board of Selectmen under these extreme circumstances serves as the legislative body that the town meeting customarily does. So having explained all that, I would ask for a motion, a second, and again, please describe yourselves as you do it, and then we'll have all the discussion that we'd like before we vote.
Roger, so moved.
Jeff, second.
Okay, is there any discussion on this at all?
Any
No,
questions for me?
no,
I think we covered it.
Okay, if everybody's fully aware of what we're doing here and we're all comfortable, I'll call for a vote. Roger?
no, go ahead.
Roger, aye.
You already did, okay. Aye.
Roger? Jeff?
Jeff, aye.
Ed Moan, aye. Thank you very much. Motion passes, and I'm sure the fire department will be extremely happy to hear that we can now purchase the Scott Air Packs.
Yes. I don't know if you can hear me or not, Ed.
Yes, I hear.
Okay, Jim O'Neill, thank you very much, gentlemen.
You're most welcome, Jimmy.
You're welcome,
Happy that
Jim.
we could,
Thank you, Jim.
happy that we could get it done in this manner. As you know, it became a little difficult with the COVID virus and the lack of the ability to have meetings. But with the governor's executive order in this matter, it has really made it possible for us to move this along in a safe and expeditious manner. So we're pleased to be able to do it, Jimmy.
We appreciate it. We really do. Thank you from the department.
You're welcome. Moving on to item D. The Board of, I'll just, before I read this piece and then take the, there's a resolution that's associated with it. The Board of Finance is recommending to the Board of Selectmen, as is the Thomaston Water Pollution Control Facility, that we execute a resolution that will provide some taxpayer assistance in these difficult times, as with bills that have will become payable up to and including our first real estate and property assessment July 1. That is, and the option that is recommended to us by both of those committees, or boards, I should say, is to take the 3% per annum, or 25.25% per month for 90 days. So the motion essentially reads, in accordance with the governor's executive orders 7S and 7W, resolved to implement the low interest program of 3% per annum, 0.25% per month for a 90-day period for both the town of Thomaston and the Water Pollution Control Authority for the purposes of taxation. That we have a resolution that I will, if agreed to, I will execute and sign. I will have the chairman of the WPCA execute and sign it, and I'll have the town clerk, Kathy DuPont, sign and seal as well. Then send that all off to OPM, which we must do, by the way, by I believe the 24th of this week. So a motion to that effect, please.
So moved, Roger.
Jeff will second.
Is there any discussion?
Roger, no.
I do have a question, Ed. So I know that this is all dictated by the state. Is this the maximum relief that we can provide to our residents, or is there other options that we should also be considering?
There were two options that were offered to us, and two only. Either this low interest for a 3-month period, or simply waiving and delaying payments of any taxes for the same 3-month period. After discussion with particularly the Board of Finance and our finance director, in light of our current situation and our anticipated expenditures, it was thought in the best interest that we would that while we want to provide some relief, and in fact, we need to provide some relief per the governor's order, that this was a better option. We don't think that 0.25% is going to really impact anybody particularly negatively. I can't say there's no negative impact, there clearly is at 0.25%, but it's very minimal. The fact is, Jeff, that historically we've needed that cash flow And if we had to wait until October to receive it, we might well find ourselves as a town in a position where we would have to go out and borrow some money at an interest rate, which would be negative to the community at large, to have to finance some of our actual spending, or, needed spending, not, payroll and those kinds of things. Another large factor at this point also is that we have many road projects going forward right now. And as they go forward, there will be partial payments required. And while we do have some assets that we can utilize, there's concern, and again, this concern comes from the Board of Finance, as well as our financial director, Tracy Decker, and candidly myself as well, that it would not be in our best interest as a community to find ourselves short cash and then have to take a loan. No guarantees that would have to happen, but we don't want to put ourselves in that kind of position. Are anything further? Are you comfortable with that? Would you like to add?
I just wanted to make sure I understood it.
Okay, fine. So do I have a motion and a second for this, please?
You already have.
Got it.
I do? I
Yeah,
have a motion and a second. I'm sorry. I apologize. Therefore, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, Roger?
Roger's aye.
Jeff,
Jeff?
aye. Jeff, aye.
Ed Moan, aye. Thank you very much. Passes unanimously. I will get that signed tomorrow and send our notice to OPM as well, so that, well, because that's what's required, candidly. Last matter under new business is to review and approve a contract extension with CWPM for our refuse hauling. CWPM has a we've entered into 5 years ago, we entered into a contract with CWPM to be our trash haulers. The contract we originally entered into permitted for us to sign yet another 5-year extension. I'm going to strongly recommend that we enter into that extension for another 5-year period for the following reasons. Let me start off with just the most obvious. I think they've done a superior job for trash hauling. Since they have come on, our complaints have been extremely few. And when they do occur, which is rare, they really is rare, when it does occur, we have the ability to call the driver on the truck. And in most cases, he will remedy that problem, a missed pickup, same day. I mean, that's tremendous service based over what we had. Well, I won't even go into what we had previously, but it's excellent service. But here's the real kicker. And by the way, this contract has been reviewed also by town attorney and insurance broker. Here's the real kicker. If you look at the analysis, can you go forward, Stacy, to where we have the numbers here?
Page
You're gonna
7.
probably have to go to page 4 or something.
7.
Stacy. Now, God, keep going, please. Keep going. A little bit further. A little bit. There we go. Even though it's sideways, unfortunately. I want the last. Yeah, let's go with this one. If you look at this one, scroll down just a little bit, Stacy, so the public can see. Okay. The beauty of this one is you'll see it's year 6 through 10. Okay. And what they've done is actually he's taken it and he's literally dropped, and you'll see that from the second sheet that's before you, and we'll go there in a minute. But he's actually taken a lower cost than we were being charged previously, and is charging us the same rate for a whole entire 5-year period with no escalation. So we got a hauler who's willing to do business with us and charges $360,000 a year. That's his price. Every year for 5 years. If you flip to the next page just a little bit where I say current rates, and that one's a little easier to read, you can see, just as an example, in year 5, the hauling of MSW was $199,167.51. Now, it's not a big drop, but just the same. He's come down to $199 even for 5 years. He's actually dropped his price a little bit from what it was the previous year. or this year, I should say, the current year. So clearly, these guys are, A, in my opinion, doing a great job. B, they're certainly giving us reason, not only reasonable, but very fair and equitable rates going forward. I see no reason not to want to extend this contract for another 5 years. I'd entertain a motion in a second, and then we'll have all the discussion anyone would like.
Yeah, Roger, so moved.
Jeff will second.
Okay, so this is to enter into contract with CWPM for the extension of another 5 years, which is technically a year-to-year deal because we can get out, either one of us actually can get out with appropriate notices spelled out in the contract. Are there any questions regarding this?
But just
Any
a comment,
discussion?
Ed.
Pardon
Just
me?
just look at the numbers, what they're proposing for next 5 years is, I think it's phenomenal. It's to our advantage for sure. Take advantage of it.
I would certainly agree. I can't see how we could go wrong. Once
No.
again, the real kicker here for me is not only is this a great number for us and a very good deal, clearly, the service has been fantastic. It really has. And we're getting a good price and we're getting a good service. How can we go wrong? So we have a motion in a second. Jeff, did you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, then I'll call for a vote, please. Roger,
Yes.
Jeff?
Jeff, aye.
Aye, okay, and Ed Moan, aye also. Thank you. That concludes all of our new business, and I'll follow up on all these things. Some guys are gonna be kind of anxious to hear anyways, and I'm gonna be glad to let them know. We have some board appointments and resignations. I would ask that we accept with regret both Jamie Wilson's resignation from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective 4/1/2020 and Mary Ann Sandberg, Library Board Trustee, effective 4/1/2020. Motion?
So moved. Jeff.
Don't move, Jeff.
Second.
Second, Roger. I'll add that we accept these resignations with regret. Jamie has served on the Zoning Board of Appeals as chairman for at least as long as I've served as the first selectman, and he's been on there longer. Mary Ann Sanford, Sandy Sanford, library, has served on many different capacities, most recently as Library Board of Trustees, and she would still be serving, I'm sure, except for she has moved out of state. So we thank them both for their many years of service and accept with regret. The next matter is the appointment of Patricia Johnson at 53 Green Manor to the Thomaston Housing Authority, effective immediately. I might add that Patricia is an unaffiliated voter. She is taking the place of the liaison from the senior community who has unfortunately passed away most recently. And she is willing to serve. Being an unaffiliated voter, it doesn't upset the balances in any way, shape, or form as to, the balance of power. I hate to say that, but the balance as it relates to political party affiliations. So this makes it very simple for the board to simply appoint her. A motion and a second, please.
So moved.
So moved, Roger. Second, Jeff Dunn.
Jeff will second.
Ed, all in favor?
Aye.
Ed,
Roger, aye. Jeff, aye. Ed Moan, aye. Thank you.
Ed, just as a point of order, you
Please.
could vote on the resignations. You just took the,
I didn't vote on the resignations?
no.
I'm sorry. Let's go back and vote on them. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention, Jeff. I appreciate that. Let's vote on those resignations, please. Roger?
So moved.
Jeff, aye also?
Jeff,
I got Roger, aye. Jeff, aye. Ed Moan, aye. Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it, Jeff. Lastly, and I would ask at this point, Stacy, to open up to the public, open up all the microphones. Is there any public comment? I will ask one more time. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Roger, so moved.
and Jeff will second that.
Thank you. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Roger?
Aye.
Jeff?
Jeff, aye.
Edmond, aye. Thank you all very much for this meeting. It's it's truly an experience, and I can't wait till we can all sit in the same room together again, guys, and do this face to face. But in the meantime, this is a great way to get it done. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, Stacy, thank
And
you
thank
very
you,
much for helping
Stacy.
us here.
And thank you, Stacy, for a fantastic job.
My pleasure.
Everybody can
Here,
sign
gentlemen.
out, guys. Leave meeting.
Okay, ending now.